Welcome. If you're a woman who has a sense that there's more out there for you, you're in the right place. I'm Whitney Baker, host of the Electric Ideas podcast. Somewhere along the line of work and kids, life carried on, but I lost track of my truth. I'm on a reflective journey, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, I interview a woman who is lighting her own path and offering others hope. Before our conversation ends, we'll share a reflective question for you to explore. Sometimes all we need is a jolt, a fresh idea, an aha moment that connects us to a sense of possibility. This, my friends, is what I call an electric idea. I'm Whitney Baker from Electric Ideas, and this is a mini jolt, a short episode where I share quick tips and reflections to light you up with a greater sense of what's possible for you and your life. So before we dive into today's quick episode, I want to share an exciting update. The waitlist is open for my fall signature group coaching experience for moms called Season to Shift. I've found through my own personal journey and through my work with many women that it's really tricky in the world we live in for women, especially moms, to create space in their days to actually press pause, intentionally release some stress, and drop into themselves. My Season to Shift program is a 6-week program, and it's crafted exactly for moms who want to feel more connected to themselves and alive in their lives right now without having to do some major overhaul or make a major change. My mastermind is this structured opportunity for like-minded moms to come together and experience guided time together each week. There are 6 themes, and each week we explore a different theme. And in the sessions, you're going to get to experience energizing exercises that help you remember yourself and also just remind you what actually matters most to you in this season of your life. You'll also have a chance to remember some parts of you that perhaps you neglected along your motherhood and career journey, or that you didn't even know existed. Anybody who has taken a workshop with me knows that there's a flow for gathering, and it's this really special mix of high vibe, fun energy that allows us to shake off a little stress, mixed with an opportunity for quiet that so many moms really have a tough time cultivating in their own lives or being comfortable with in their own lives. I've carefully weaved in written exercises that really have helped a lot of my clients have aha moments and clarity and a chance to connect and feel clear on their lives and have a little bit of perspective. You also get to experience weekly rituals and fun homework assignments that help you practice this flow of mental decluttering, inviting in a lighter, playful you, and being present in your own life through practices you explore throughout the week. So many women that I work with come with kind of the same set of challenges, and they think they're alone. They feel stretched. They feel overwhelmed. They feel disconnected with themselves. Sometimes they're not even sure what lights them up anymore. And if they are, they often have no idea how to make time for themselves. So this is a really powerful, transformative program. And I can say that with full heart and full confidence because all of the wonderful feedback I've had from my clients who've taken the scary leap and done something different because they're ready to feel different. They're ready to shift into joy. They're ready to shift into more clarity. They're ready to shift into feeling more lit up in their own right and letting that ripple into the other aspects of their life and how they're showing up with the people they love. Many of you have asked me to share the dates sooner because I get it. I'm a mom as well. And a 6-week commitment is a big deal. And that's why I want to get you this information early. We meet at 11 o'clock Central every Wednesday for 6 weeks. This cohort starts September 25th. So women who've had success in my program have just claimed it for themselves. They've communicated with their employers, with their partners, with their people, and let them know that it's their turn. It's their season to shift. And I don't care if that sounds a little cheesy because I want this program to reach any woman who's ever felt like she was meant for more, ready to show up for more in her life, but she didn't know what that more was. It's more connected. It's more joy. It's more fulfilled. And usually when you're feeling disconnected, as I once was, it's because you're spending so much time in your head and you could benefit from a little guidance of letting go, clearing that headspace, and remembering how to tap into your heart. This program is intentionally limited in space because I love working with small, intimate groups. So if you're even remotely considering the program this fall, hop on the wait list. It doesn't mean that you've signed your name in blood that you're going to do the program. It just means that you're saving a spot so that when all of the information is completely baked, I can reach out to you first, check in, make sure the program's a fit. And if it still feels super aligned, I'll give you the first opportunity to hop in. So check out the show notes. The waitlist is available there. If you have any questions or any issues signing up for the waitlist, I'd love to hear from you anytime. You can reach out to me via email. It's super easy. Whitney@myelectricideas.com. Okay, on to today's short episode on a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. So today, I'm going to talk about the idea of feeling stuck or even just stagnant in your life, as I found through the Season to Shift program that many women go through periods like this. What's interesting to me from hearing from so many of my clients is that many women feel like life's pretty good, can't complain, and there's almost a sneaky guilt factor in the mix if they are craving something different for themselves because their lives are full. They have people to care for and jobs to do and communities to hold together. So they almost feel selfish for wanting more for themselves or for seeking out an even higher expression for their lives. And I can really relate to this. So years ago, when I quit my job to focus on caring for my young children, I was freelancing and going through this murky period of life. Here I thought I would quit my high pressure job and all of my problems would be solved. But it turns out I was more confused than ever. I wasn't getting freelance gigs that felt very exciting or fulfilling, yet I was once again inviting lots of stress into my life and trading off time with my girls to do these projects, and nothing was quite sitting right. I'd never even heard of coaches back then, and somehow through some virtual gathering I was involved with, I stumbled upon a career coach. And she felt very aligned in how she was talking about life and work. And I decided to invest in myself and purchase a handful of sessions because it had taken a lot of courage and thought for me to quit a good job that just was not working for my family situation. That was also, side note, destroying my nervous system. But my life didn't suddenly fall into place. And that was hard and eye-opening. So I meet with this coach. And within a session or two, she asked me what turned out to be a really profound question. She said, "What are you missing right now in your life that you think you're going to gain by having better freelance opportunities or better work in any capacity in your professional life right now?" This caused me to really pause and reflect. The two answers I came back to her with were, one, I was missing working with and talking to high caliber, interesting people about interesting things. I missed intellectual stimulation and conversations about topics that had nothing to do with nap schedules or hiding vegetables in meals. I missed my adult intellectual side of myself. Secondly, I missed creating. I'd been in a creative field and loved that energy. I love the ideas. I really love the process of creating something novel when that thing did not exist before. So I came back to the coach with these answers, and she says, okay, how can we create these feelings in your life right now, right away, without needing to wait for the right freelance work or part-time job to fall into place? So while I was still working away on the freelance stuff, I decided to join a classics club, a book club that only discussed classics. I actually just Googled book clubs and found one that was at our local neighborhood bookstore. And at the time, I loved it. I've always been a big reader. I hadn't read classics for a long time. And it was an easy but important environment for me to remember and honor that side of me. And then when it comes to creating, I actually realized that I had abandoned a lot of creative practices that I had practiced before I was in the creative field, before I had kids, because sometimes when work and life and kids happens, we just don't create space for ourselves to do these things. I've always been a writer at heart. When I was little, I scribbled in journals and I kind of had stopped writing. And so I decided to also take a writing class. And that turned out to be a force of good in my life because I had a structured opportunity to create. It wasn't always easy to swing it, but I talked to my family about how important it was to me. And I actually ended up feeling really good telling my daughters once a week after dinner, okay, dad's taking over because mom's going to her writing class. I would leave after dinner, I'd go out, and I had this chance to practice my craft. I share this experience with you because I think we all are guilty of delaying fulfillment in our lives and thinking it will suddenly click into place once we traverse a big change. For example, when we move houses or when we're finished having children or when life settles down. But I can tell you from firsthand experience, it rarely happens like that. So if you're feeling stuck or stagnant in your life, I invite you to really picture that version of yourself who is in that place you think you would feel great being in. I think this could apply to almost any category of life. Feeling good in your body, feeling creatively expressed, figuring out your next career move. Then ask yourself that same question. How do I think I'm going to feel when this vision becomes true? Then be your own coach. Figure out ways, just like I joined the Classics Book Club and I took a writing class. Figure out ways you can start feeling those feelings and that sense of fulfillment right away. These aligned actions are so important because they get momentum going in your life and they help you move past feeling stuck and stagnant. And that energy ripples throughout all areas of your life. There are two more points related to this experience that I want to make because I think feeling stuck and stagnant is an awful feeling. And I want to give you ideas for what you can do right away to help ease those feelings and start inviting a bit more flow into your life right away. If you're curious about a move or a change in your life, do anything you can to get out of your head about it and figure out a way you can experience it in even the smallest of ways. Sometimes the smaller, the better. If you're considering going back to school for a master's degree, take a single class. If you're considering a move, talk to somebody who lives in the town you might move to, or book a staycation in that town and just live like a local there for a weekend and see how you feel. When we take aligned action in the direction of our whispers, we get really important feedback that lets us know whether or not we're on the right path. When we just keep things in our head and overthink without trying, we make it harder because we're trying to make progress and gain momentum from our heads. And it's harder to move forward with a decision or get momentum in our lives and move past this feeling of stuckness. Another important lesson from this experience that I've understood at a much deeper level later in life is the power of putting yourself in the environment. So if you want to feel, look, be, express, do, go somewhere or something different in the world, try to put yourself in that environment. Where would somebody who is showing up the way you're longing to show up be hanging out? What would she be doing? How would she be spending her day? Give yourself the permission to start playing with that now during your phase of becoming and not having to have it all figured out before you start taking small actions. Side bonus is you'll likely encounter like-minded people along the way who can help support your evolution and maybe even become friends. So as I wrap up this episode, I wanted to share that I decided to look up the word stuck in the dictionary. One of the definitions you'll find is that stuck means to cling to something. The example I saw in the dictionary was the plastic seats stuck to my skin. I think when we feel stuck, we are clinging to the familiar, living a life that's too much in our heads and on autopilot, and expecting and hoping for something to shift. This has nothing to do with people who have quiet, simple lives and feel content. That's beautiful. But it's only for you to know if in your situation, you're living maybe a B life and that there's aspects of your life that are maybe comfortable, they feel safe, they feel familiar, but they're just not serving you. And you're yearning for more. You know there's more out there for you. So as you know, I always end my episodes with a reflection. If you're feeling stuck or stagnant in any area of your life, it's likely you're also playing the if only I could blank, then I would feel blank game. I want you to know I get it because we're trying to raise families. We're trying to run households. We're trying to patch together our professional existence. And half the time our hormones are changing. It's so easy to get stuck in a mode where we cling to familiar mediocrity in life because it feels safe. I think it's a much more empowered way of living to be honest about where we feel stuck and stagnant. Then we can get clear on what we're craving and we can ask ourselves that profound question that I asked myself so many years ago. What am I missing that I feel like I would have or feel if I made a change? Then take the pressure off yourself to make this huge change overnight and start figuring out small ways in your day-to-day life where you can start feeling that feeling. I promise this is going to shift your energy and shift your trajectory and help you loosen up from that stuck, stagnant feeling in life. And this is the exact type of work we do in Season to Shift. And without creating upheaval or overcommitting to something time-wise in your life that's going to throw off the balance, you're able to make baby steps toward the next best version of yourself. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you go through this reflection and want to share what came up for you, I'd love to hear from you. I genuinely love hearing from other women and being a resource. You're more than welcome to connect with me on Instagram at @WhitneyWoman and message me there. And again, you can always drop me an email. It's summertime, so I might not respond right away, but I will get back to you. You can reach me at Whitney@myelectricideas.com. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have an inspired day. I'm so glad you joined me today. If you're looking for more, feel free to connect with me on Instagram at @WhitneyWoman. And if you enjoyed the show, I invite you to support me by leaving a review or sharing it with a friend. Hope you have an inspired day.